Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and this is Unpopular Wrestling Opinion Episode 3. Basically, this is going to be the only WrestleMania themed Unpopular Wrestling Opinion show that I can do, because after this, from the 27th of, basically next Monday, through to April 4th, I'm going to be busy. It's going to be Raw, SmackDown, Mania preview, TakeOver preview, Hall of Fame review, TakeOver review, Mania review, Raw, SmackDown. I mean, it's going to be a lot of shows, guys. It's going to be like at least 7 to 8 shows. So I'm not going to have time, basically, to film anything else. Though I will give you the option that if you want to send me any questions, I'm going to basically just plug that right now, that if you want to send me any questions, send them to me basically before Wednesday. And I'll see if I can get a show in. But anyway, Unpopular Wrestling Opinion Episode 3. This involves Rey Mysterio's world title win at WrestleMania 22. I want to take this opportunity to say I respect Rey Mysterio. The man did great things in Mexico, in ECW, in WCW, and even in WWE. And he put on a lot of great performances, did have some very good matches. Though here's why I'm going to basically say that his Mania 22 world title win was a bad idea. And this isn't really all on him. This is a lot on creative. Eddie Guerrero sadly did pass away, and that's why I'm wearing the Eddie t-shirt. For those of you that actually could see it on camera. He sadly passed away, and they slotted Rey in because Rey was one of Eddie's best friends and been with him through a lot. So I got why they did it, for an emotional story and that kind of stuff. The reason I wasn't a big fan of it is because Rey had essentially just been, a cruiserweight talent from the time he'd been in WCW. I mean, yeah, and a lot of that was politics, and he did have some injuries. He had an injury, I believe, in late 97, early 98. I think they did an angle when he faced Jericho at WCW NWO Sold Out 98, where Rey had a knee injury. He needed to be written off TV, so Jericho beat him. And then that wrote him off TV, I believe, till about Road Wild 98. I think. It was Road Wild 98, or it was right around that time. And then Rey had a couple injuries after that, but that was his first major injury. In WWE, from July 2002 to about, I think, October, Survivor Series, he ended up getting injured soon after that, had knee surgery, minor knee surgery, and was out for a little bit. And then he had a groin injury in 2003, and he'd had other injuries. He battled through a lot of injuries and had done a great job with it, and put on great cruiserweight matches and some great main event quality matches with Kurt Angle, Undertaker in 2003, and a lot of good matches. And he had great teamings with Edge in 2002, and he had great teamings with Eddie Guerrero in 2005, and RVD in 2004. Rey put on a lot of great quality performances. I'm not here to knock the performer himself. I was personally not a fan of the storyline. I wasn't a fan of Orton at all, saying, oh, Eddie's not up there, he's down there in hell. Not Orton's fault. They told him to say it. He did not like saying it, so I'm not here to knock Orton. But all through, Rey basically being a cruiserweight talent, that kind of stuff, and then getting thrust into the main event, I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe that Rey didn't deserve the opportunity, but because of the piggybacking of, off of Eddie's death, it made fans resent Rey Mysterio, right or wrong. I'm not saying it's necessarily right. But even though he was delivering some of his best performances, in his 2006 Royal Rumble run was great. It was great. Him going from number 2, surviving till the end, eliminating some people, having a great emotional investment. That was great. It was great to see him win the Royal Rumble. The problem is, and they had the match with Orton where he put the title on the line, No Way Out 06. And then he lost it. Teddy Long didn't like it and slotted Rey into the match anyway. So you had Angle, Orton, and Rey. What didn't help was them cutting the match from a rumored 18 to 19 minutes down to 9 minutes. Now, that was just not good at all. That was, in fact, terrible, because it took a lot of starch out of the match. While Orton and Angle and Rey still had some good matches, they had to cram all these spots that they may have planned, talked about, or wanted to do into this short time. Rey got the biggest entrance at WrestleMania 22. The problem is his push, especially heading into the Rumble, but especially afterwards, started to feel very forced. Fans were behind him, but but they were starting to turn against him by that point. And yeah, he got a good pop at Mania 22, and then he got just basically essentially buried as world champion. I had no issue with him going to win one for Eddie. And yes, he almost had to win. It was like ordained. He had to win the title. But just looking back on it, it's just Rey wins it. It's like, okay, great. And it felt hollow to me. And it's not Rey's fault. That's basically how the whole thing was booked. I did not personally care for it. I just thought it was like really forced and really not good. And yeah, Vince didn't believe in Rey and ended up kind of burying him. Like he lost to Mark Henry and Khali and only held the title for 4 months. About 4 months. And then lost it to Booker T, and who was doing the King Booker thing, and it worked. King Booker, worked. But Rey, right after that, it was in a feud with Chavo Guerrero, and then he lost, and he ended up losing the I Quit match, and he was out for about a year. Couldn't get back into the title picture because he was out of Mania 24. He got a couple title reigns after that. One world title reign in 2010 and one in 2011 WWE title reign that Cena beat him after Rey had wrestled for the title and won it that night because John Cena's such a great babyface, he beats a weakened guy. But going back to just Rey's Mania 22 win, it fell flat. Rey did win it for Eddie. That was a great story. But after that, then what? He was getting terrible reactions in some areas. He just wasn't believable. He was not believable as a world champion. The build-up was fine, even if I found it a little tasteless. Not Rey's fault, creative's fault. But I always just resented the fact that WWE did that. I mean, one, I wanted Eddie, but Eddie could not be there. That was not on Rey. Rey gave the best efforts he could. But creatively, they botched the whole thing. Because then, instead of running with Rey as a champion and having him, be the gutsy underdog and beat guys, he was losing to everybody. I mean, they were all non-title matches, and he didn't lose, like I said, until he lost to Booker T later that summer when Chavo Guerrero interfered and cost Rey the match. It just felt so flat, and just, to me, was one of the worst world title wins ever at a Mania. Even as emotional as it was, and even as hard as Rey worked. I just never cared for it. I wish it wouldn't have happened. Because, quite frankly, it was very, very flat. So anyway, that's what I'm going to say. So that's Unpopular Wrestling Opinion, Episode 3. I'm ready for the hateful comments that I will likely get. But hey, it's my opinion. Make your own video if you don't like it. Do you agree, disagree? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link is in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and I'll see you soon.